Have you ever been really excited to start a new habit, only to watch it completely fizzle out after a few weeks? Yeah, me too. Well, if that sounds familiar, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're going to ditch the whole just try harder advice and build a real, science-backed blueprint for habits that actually last.
So let's just start with a question that I think we can all relate to. Why is it that our best intentions, that new gym membership, the promise to read more books, why do they so often just fall apart? It's usually right around February, isn't it? It's a super common frustration, but the real reason why it happens might actually surprise you. You see, the real problem isn't a lack of desire. It's that we're relying on the wrong fuel. We think it's all about motivation. But motivation, well, it's a feeling. It's emotional, it's unreliable, it comes and it goes. The real secret, the key to lasting change, is automation. We want to turn a new behavior into something so ingrained, so automatic, that it's just like brushing your teeth. That's the goal. Okay, so first things first. Before we even get into the how-to, we have to bust a major myth. I'm talking about a myth that trips up so many people before they even have a chance to get started. You have heard this a million times, I know you have. It takes 21 days to form a habit. Well, I'm here to tell you that this popular idea, it's just plain wrong. It sets a totally unrealistic expectation. And what happens? When day 22 rolls around and the habit still feels like a total chore, people think they've failed and they just give up. So if it's not 21 days, what does the science actually say? Well, on average, it takes about 2 to 3 months of doing something consistently for it to become truly automatic. We're talking 60 to 90 days. Just knowing this is a total game changer, right? It reframes the whole process. This isn't a sprint, it's more like a marathon. And this really gets to the heart of it. We're trying to build a behavior that's driven by these ingrained pathways in our brain, not by the fleeting feeling of enthusiasm. So the goal isn't to feel motivated forever. The goal is to get to a point where you need less motivation over time. Okay, so how do we actually get there? Well, the very first step, and this is where most of us get tripped up, is to stop thinking about vague goals and start defining really concrete, repeatable actions. And to do that, we can use this handy little checklist. Your new habit has to be a specific, visible action. It needs to pass what's called the snapshot test, which just means you can clearly say yes or no to whether you actually did it. And this is so important. Start incredibly small. And try to describe it simply, focusing on the action itself, not how long you're doing it for. So here's what that looks like in the real world. A goal like get fit is super vague, right? It fails the checklist. But something like walk 1 kilometer after work, that's a perfect actionable behavior. It's visible, it's small, it's specific. Same thing with stop smoking versus chew nicotine gum after lunch. You see the difference? We're giving our brain a really clear, simple instruction to follow. Okay, so you've got your clear, actionable behavior. Now what? How do you actually make it automatic? Well, you plug it into a system. And that system, my friends, is the 5-step habit loop. This is the engine that's going to make it all happen. These 5 steps all work together to build those automatic pathways in your brain we were talking about. It starts with a cue, then you add a prompt, you do your small core action, you immediately reinforce it, and then you fine-tune the whole process. Let's break each one of these down. First up, we have the context cue. Now, a better word for this is your anchor. The idea is to link your brand new habit to something you already do every single day without even thinking about it. Like finishing your morning coffee or getting the mail. That existing routine is the launchpad for your new one. Step 2 is the prompt action. This is your trigger. It's just a small physical action that acts as a bridge from your anchor to your new habit. So if your anchor is getting the mail, your prompt action could be the simple act of putting on your running shoes right after. It's a physical signal to your brain that says, okay, this is what we're doing now. Third, you have the core action itself. This is where you actually do that tiny little behavior you defined earlier. And remember, the goal here is not intensity, it's all about consistency. You're not trying to run a 5K on day 1, you're just walking 1 kilometer. Every single time you do it, you're chalking up a win and making that neural pathway just a little bit stronger. Now, this next step is absolutely 100% critical. It's the reinforcer, or the reward. Your brain needs an immediate positive feeling to really lock in that habit loop. The reward has to come right after the action. It could be something as simple as savoring a great cup of coffee, listening to your favorite song, or taking a nice warm shower. This basically tells your brain, hey, that was good. Let's do that again tomorrow. And finally, step 5, iterate. Look, this is not a set it and forget it kind of system. Your first attempt at a loop might not be perfect, and that's okay. So you have to pay attention. Is your anchor not quite reliable? Is the reward not satisfying enough? Don't be afraid to tweak and fine-tune things until the whole loop just feels smooth, effortless, and totally consistent. All right, so once you have your habit loop working pretty well, there are a few key strategies you can use to really protect that new habit and make sure it sticks around for the long haul. To really make your new habit lock in, you gotta support the loop. First, make it easy. Reshape your environment so the right choice is the easy choice, like lay out your running shoes the night before. Second, get other people involved. Arrange for some accountability with a friend. Third, and I'm gonna say it again, never forget that immediate reward. And finally, only once the habit feels genuinely automatic, then you can start to gradually increase the difficulty. Maybe you walk for 1 more minute each week. If you take only one single thing away today, please let it be this simple formula. This is the entire system in a nutshell. It's not about having superhuman willpower. It's about designing a smart system where tiny, repeatable actions powered by an immediate reward create real, lasting change. So let's forget about relying on motivation. Let's forget the 21-day myth. Instead, let's think about the system. So I'll leave you with one final question to think about. Based on everything we just covered, what one tiny, actionable habit are you going to start building today?